Hi friends. We went in February to Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and this is our deep dive of it. We're putting up a bunch of different stuff. We have some evidence. We did an interview with Leila Marvel from DROP Paranormal. She was so kind to sit down with us for hours and go over everything with me. It's a very heavy place. It's a very heavy subject. There were some very horrific things that happened there. And I want to preface this video with, we make jokes. We try and keep things pretty lighthearted, especially with things like this. We try and keep things lighthearted. So there's going to be, laughing. And I notice editing this that I laugh when I'm uncomfortable as well. So like right now. So if you hear me laughing and it seems a little inappropriate, it's probably nervous laughter, or me being uncomfortable, or like like I know when we were talking about the police and the firemen in the town going in there and doing paintball, like I just laugh at the audacity that they had to do that in such a historic building. We had a lot of fun there. I know when we went to Penhurst and also Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, there were a lot of things that happened to those human beings that were there. And those human beings are now ghosts that are there. And a lot of them were kids. I try and be respectful. Also try and keep it lighthearted, not to bring up really negative things. We don't like to provoke or bring up bad things that have happened. Like in Dean's room, we tried not to talk about murder because that was horrific. And if I was a ghost, I wouldn't want that brought up all the time. I wouldn't want to have to keep reliving that moment. I would just want to, live my afterlife, as you will. We want to pay our respects to them, but also not bring in any more heaviness, any more negativity. We don't, I thoroughly believe that humans are powerful in our energy, and when you bring negativity into a place, that feeds that negativity, and we don't want to do that. So we try and keep happiness and light while being respectful. So I just want to remind you that you're gonna hear some bad stuff. Trigger warning for suicide, for murder, for torture. There was some bad things that happened, but not all of it was bad. And some of those kids had a great time. Some of those adults, the geriatric patients, had a comfortable life. It wasn't all bad all the time. And I also want you to think about that when you visit these places. Have a heart, and would you think about if you were stuck or you chose to stay in these places, would you want people coming in, bringing negativity, bringing up things that happened that was really awful? It's one thing if they bring it up, like in the Estes session that I had when they said murder. That was not me. That was the Estes. That was the boy in the boys' wing talking about that and bringing that up. I do believe that they also brought up the suicide with the two young boys that hung themselves with the sheets. That was also brought up. So we come in a nice, positive manner, and we let them do the talking, and we let them show us what they want. But also no, we're not trying to be disrespectful if we make jokes or have fun, because again, bring in positivity. And it was exciting for us. You can see some place on TV or YouTube over and over again, and then when you get in there, you're like, I'm finally experiencing this. This is cool. You can have these complicated feelings and have layers to this, and I just want to remind you guys of that. So, trigger warning, it's pretty heavy. We also make jokes. We're not being disrespectful. We aim to be as respectful as possible with all of this. So enjoy, and shout out to all my boo buds. You'll get to see all my friends that we go in places with. This group has been doing stuff for a while now, for a year. So enjoy my merry bunch of misfits. All right, have a good time watching this. I hope you like it. It took me so long to do. All right, bye. See you soon.
On the way down to this Trans-Allegheny in the snow.
When did you cut it short? A little over a year ago, I guess. Okay.
Hello. Maple sugar candy.
It was the best. 4 in the morning singing. Welcome to Only Ghosts in the Building. This is your host, Emily Claire.
And Karen Lynn. And I'm Leila Marvel from Delaware Researchers of the Paranormal.
Time's a flat circle.
We don't know what time is because we can't, that's the only thing we know. We can't experience anything else.
Yeah, like
unless you die.
This could all be happening all at the same time, and we don't know all the dimensions,
all of the other things that happen. That's a theory. Yeah. So, should we go into Trans-Allegheny?
Yeah, sure.
So, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Yeah.
In Weston, West Virginia.
Weston.
Interesting place. Mm-hmm. People weren't lunatics. You know, that's a really misnomer. They had mental issues, they had physical issues, epilepsy and other kinds of medical issues, Down syndrome.
Or your parents couldn't feed you, so they dropped you off, because there was a lot of kids there that...
There were kids that couldn't be taken care of, and there were families, actually, we won't get into that, but families that had moved into that hospital because they had nowhere else to go and they were taken in. But
so did you find why it's called Lunatic Asylum now?
Yeah, because they wanted the name back. It's
salacious.
It draws people.
Got it.
Exactly.
Yes, salacious.
They want salacious as well. So the early colonists brought with them beliefs about, wherever they came from, brought their beliefs with them. And they really thought people that were challenged were insane. They were thought to be possessed. So by witches or devils or demons, and witch hunting throughout you think of it as in New England, Salem and things like that, but it was really throughout all of the colonies. They had that same thought process that if people acted different, then they should be labeled as a witch and killed at the stake or whatever. So we think about that as New England, but it really happened there as well. And during the 1600s, many people with mental illnesses were put into prisons. They did not have institutions for them. They were just put into a prison, and they were chained to walls. Family kept them hidden in attics or basements, or sometimes even in sheds or holes in the ground, because they didn't know what else to do with them. They couldn't control them. They didn't want other people to know because of the stigma of having a mentally ill family member.
Is that where the disappointments room?
Yes. There's a movie
Yeah,
about
I saw
that.
yeah.
Is there- what's it called?
The Disappointments Room.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's where I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but
Yeah.
where they would put away
Yeah.
the
Down syndrome.
children or someone they
Or
didn't
like-
want.
They didn't want in public or to be seen.
Or like even with The Secret Garden,
Oh, I
where
love
he
that
had
movie.
the boy,
Yeah,
and they would hide
they
him
would
away.
because and they convinced him he had this illness,
Yeah.
and they treated him
And
when he
give him
didn't
a
need to.
hunchback.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't show them kindness, and that was a really big thing that started this whole thing. So Dorothea Dix in the 1700s, she lobbied to change all of that. So she did. She was born in 1802. I guess it was the 1800s. If she was born 1802, died in 1887. She did a lot of social reform. So she was 15 when she left home, and she had an alcoholic father, and her mother was mentally ill. And she started a girls' school at 15.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, she was really progressive.
Hey,
And,
killing it.
and then started to do
15-year-old.
social reform, and she advocated on behalf of the indigent mentally ill, so people that didn't have anybody else, and it would end up in prisons and things like that. She was very gifted, and in 1841 she visited a jail as part of, she was giving a lecture, and some of the people in the lecture were jailers, and she wanted to see the jail, and she observed that the mentally ill men were naked and chained to walls in a basement, and she was outraged, absolutely sickened and outraged, and she became a lifelong crusader to help the mentally ill and improve the treatment. And she started first in the United States, and then she actually went international with her advocacy for the mentally ill. And she actually ended up in a mental institution in her last year because she couldn't stand the strain. But part of her advocacy, she met this guy, Thomas Kirkbride. So he was a Quaker, born into a Quaker family, 1809 to 1883, so the time frame's the same.
We're always finding a Quaker.
There seems
My
to be
family's Quakers,
everything
too.
is
What, your family's Quakers
Yeah,
too?
my dad's side, Quakers. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Quakers did a lot for it,
Yeah.
as we're finding out. And he became a doctor at the University of Pennsylvania and did a residency at a Quaker-run Friends Asylum for the Insane. He was really concerned with the care of the patients, and he designed a hospital for the insane. The Trans-Allegheny Hospital was designed by someone that he contracted to use that design for many hospitals around the country. So it's the long, kind of curved wards. It's a V rather than a straight building. A lot of windows, nicely appointed, nice grounds, with the understanding that they could rehabilitate people that were mentally ill, take care of them, and cure them, and they could go back into society with the right kind of treatment. So Trans-Allegheny is actually based on that. There's also a hospital in Trenton that Dorothea Dix, that he designed, that she actually ended up dying and going into, and she wanted to go into that hospital when she had her breakdown because of the design. So his thought, plenty of sunshine, plenty of fresh air,
You're gonna
good care.
get that in the hoots and hollers of West Virginia.
And I mean, if you think about the location,
Yeah.
there's a nice little town around it now, but how far people had to travel. And I thought the same thing about Pennhurst is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Even now, can you imagine having to travel to Pennhurst to visit your relatives?
Yeah.
That's why they didn't.
That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons it was very
And
restricted.
that was very hidden. I feel like to take the road, or at least the back way, but even the front way. But whereas Trans-Allegheny, it's It's like right in town.
Right in-
Right,
It's not, it's not
it is
hiding.
now.
Yeah, there's
You know,
probably
it was
less
originally
town
on,
around it,
guess
less,
what,
yeah.
666 acres.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With,
So weird.
with the farm and all
Oh,
of that.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So it wouldn't have been anything around.
But I don't think I think we looked at that 666, that whole thing, and that wasn't. Didn't we look that up in one of our past podcasts? Like we were asking Alexa, like when did the number of the beast happen?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
recent construct. It was like
that's
from a movie
recent.
or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't really something
Yeah,
that people
yeah.
would say, "Oh, let's do 666 acres
Yeah.
for the crazies."
It just
It
happens to
didn't
be.
happen.
That was very weird. Like they did not mean it that way. And didn't they? What was 13 buildings?
13 buildings. Yeah.
Which actually, if you think about it, is the lucky number. But you know,
Yeah,
nobody
well-
wants to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know
There's-
whether that was any of the thought process at
Yeah.
all, or we're just assuming that somebody thought that was
But
a good idea.
the really cool part is that the water is right there, and
There's
I think
Oh,
that's
the river.
probably
Yeah, the river's right there.
Well, there's that in the Bluestone, which
Yes.
is,
yes.
but it was started in Bluestone, but not finished in Bluestone. So there's a story about that. So Tala, we're going to call it Tala, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
I think it's a lot nicer than saying lunatic all the time.
So in 1858, the plans were made for the hospital based on the Kirkbride plan, and it was initially designed for 250 patients. And everyone was to have their own nicely appointed room, lots of fresh air, they could walk around. The first wing was initially started by prisoners. So they took prisoners to do the building. And unfortunately, it took a while for the bluestone to get from where it was quarried to the hospital in West Virginia. I don't know why. I mean, going over mountains and things like that couldn't have been easy in those days.
Yeah.
You didn't have trucks.
Right, right.
So a lot of them escaped. So they had to kind of scrap that plan, and then they hired people to finish it. But they started it, and then the Civil War interrupted, and kind of they had to give it up for a while. Civil War, both sides used it as a fort, so because it was kind of in the middle of things. And it was opened in 1964. They had 9 female patients, and it was completed in 1872 with 241 patients, and the limit was supposed to be 250. So they were well within their size for that kind of facility. It looked like a Gothic castle. I have to agree with that. It does. It's the largest stone structure in North America and reportedly only second in size to the Kremlin. It was originally on 666 acres and was self-sufficient with a farm, dairy, waterworks, and a cemetery. People that toured it, it was clean, spacious, and well appointed with individual rooms. And I think you can see that where some of the reconstruction is when you go in, I guess.
Yeah,
on
and
the
like
first
that main floor. I mean,
Yeah.
it's- I mean, even like some of the lobbies when you go up to the 4th floor and down,
Yeah.
the main gathering area, beautiful.
It was supposed to be, it was designed to be that, a little bit of sophistication in it,
Yeah.
because it was supposed to be comforting.
And it housed the workers too, the nurses and the,
Yes,
the directors.
Yes, they lived there as well. So the suicidal and homicidal patients were kept in wings away from the general population, so people could roam freely that weren't in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
It was adults initially, and then children with mental illness, epilepsy, autism, Down syndrome, and then there were pregnancy patients. So if a child came in or an adult they were pregnant, then you didn't know what else to do with them. They were back then.
Was that Lily? That was Lily. Okay.
Well, Lily was born in the
Well,
hospital.
yeah.
Her
But they weren't
mother
sure
came in.
though about.
If she got pregnant, the mom got pregnant there,
Therefore,
or she was
yeah,
previously.
She came
Right.
in. So I had heard that she came in pregnant, but that may not be the case. But Lily was born there.
Not to throw shade, but
Yeah.
That happened also.
Yes, that happened also because there was a lot of sexual abuse later on. So we'll get there. A separate wing was built to house black patients in 1873. So they actually
Where was that?
segregated. It's a building, separate building behind,
Oh, okay.
Not the Civil War section.
not the Civil
Like
War
a whole
section.
separate
Yeah.
building.
Now the Civil War section was also built on. So Civil War veterans were allowed to go in. So
In the kitchen.
there's a whole list of, and you probably saw that when you went in, the list of reasons for admission.
And then they gave it to us because they gave us certificates
yeah.
saying why we
I
were.
have mental illness.
I have brain fever.
That was kind of cute.
I remember.
It was so
my
funny.
ailment.
So when they visited, they all got, did the tour. They all got a certificate with their names and the reason for admission, and the list of things they couldn't do, like just leave without permission.
Yeah.
So
Or shower or eat or
without permission, everything
everything
had to have
had to be
permission.
told.
But I think originally the concept was good. It was certainly started by people that were well-meaning, and I think Pennhurst was that same thing.
The road to hell is paved with good
Oh,
intentions.
really? That's such a
But
old trope.
it is a trope, but it's true in this case because it got bad.
It did get
Yeah,
bad.
like what?
I think,
what
and that's
year
true with
did it start to get like
everything.
really overcrowded?
Well,
I wonder. 20s or
Well,
30s?
by the 1950s, so I
Okay.
have here that by the 1950s, the population had increased to 2,400 patients.
Oh, wow.
So
That's-
over that period of time, it grew.
Okay.
And then they were, instead of having one person to a nice spacious room, there were 10 people
Yeah.
in one room.
Yeah.
There were beds in the hallway, and when they ran out of beds, they just let people sleep on the floors in the hallways.
Yeah.
So you can imagine all those hallways filled with people.
Yeah.
There was, by the end, and again, this was not until, it wasn't closed until 1994, but there was physical abuse, there was severe malnutrition due to lack of food and neglect due to staffing shortages. There were reports of staff abusing patients and patients abusing staff members. We know the story of the nurse that got murdered and found months later in the bottom of an unused stairwell.
Yeah,
Nobody
crazy
noticed that she was
Yeah, I know.
there. They searched for her, but one comment I heard is like the smell must have been so bad that they couldn't smell a rotting corpse in the
Right,
building.
yeah.
So that gives you a little idea. So started
Was
off
that
good.
in the basement?
It was in the bottom of a stairwell, unused stairwell. So
okay.
I'm not sure whether it would
And
be
there's-
the first floor or the
Because there
basement.
was like, I was looking at the map, it said like some areas like not allowed to do
Yeah.
not use like certain.
Yeah, because it looks like there's 6 stairs, set of stairs, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4,
So you're looking at
5,
this map.
6. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a
they
nice
gave
map
us
of
they
that.
gave us a map.
So there were suicides, of course, sometimes in front of the guards, and a lot of the suicides were patients hanging themselves from curtain rods,
Yeah.
and others by immersing themselves in hot water, boiling water, or in freezing cold water.
Okay.
So that was reported actually by the Boston Globe in 1891. So that was
Oh, wow. So
really
that was
early
early,
on,
yeah.
right? Yeah, and then there were fires set by patients. There was a TB outbreak in the 1960s, and I have some of the reasons for admission if you want to hear some of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Be intemperance, which I guess people you're
Alcoholic?
drunk, right? Yeah. And this was from 1864 to 1889, so this
Yeah.
was
Oh,
not
18,
recent.
okay.
Kicked in the head by a horse. So I guess
Brain damage.
Yeah. I mean, that was
concussion,
the
yeah, right.
reason. Ill treatment by husband, imaginary female troubles,
What?
hysteria, laziness, Masturbation and syphilis.
Wait, there was a thing. Wait,
Masturbation for 30 years.
Yes.
We were laughing about that. Like, did you just do it for 30 years straight?
Years.
Or you're just 30 years old?
Well, that
like,
might go hand in hand with nymphomania, because that was another reason.
Yeah.
And then menstrual issues, domestic trouble, dropsy, which we found out was, what was dropsy? How did we look that up?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Edema? Was it edema? I can't remember what dropsy, but I remember hearing about dropsy when I was little. So that was a common term that was used.
I feel like we also talked about that in Penhurst.
Right. Egotism.
I know a few people that need to go there.
Epileptic fits, sexual abuse, bad habits, novel reading. So,
Oh,
I
if you
guess
read
if
books.
you were a wife and you
You were
read too many
smart.
books,
Yeah,
then
you were
yeah.
knowledgeable.
Opium habits, overstudying of religion. I don't know what that means. Being fanatical about religion, I
maybe
guess.
fanatic.
Feebleness, asthma, women trouble, superstition, smallpox, and bitten by a dog. There's more, but I didn't.
Yeah, there's a lot. They have a whole list, and you can actually buy it as a poster.
Yeah.
I was
the gift
kind of
shop.
hoping somebody would, because that would have been interesting to have as a memento.
No, we got all the same shirts, matching shirts.
I should have got a shirt.
So
You didn't get one?
I didn't get a shirt.
Oh,
oh my god.
Lane.
Too
you
many
did get a
things.
shirt. You can have mine. You should give mine, because I didn't really go. I mean, it was nice that Colleen bought it for me, but
Like, I kind of wish
you
they had,
need
like,
them.
hats or, I don't know, maybe they did have hats, I can't remember, but,
We'll,
They had neat stuff.
we'll get you one shipped.
yeah.
Or we'll
Maybe
make
an online
Alyssa
shop.
buy you one. We made friends with our guides. We loved them. They were really
we're
cool.
going to interview.
Brandy and
Oh,
Alyssa.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So, wait for that.
Oh.
Types of treatments, and this is over the course of the year. So originally it was bloodletting. Bloodletting
Yeah.
was a big
Leeches?
thing. They didn't say anything
Or-
about leeches.
or
That's
just,
when you
like-
have injuries,
Yeah.
serious leeches, but bloodletting
So
is
it's
just
just cutting.
open a vein and letting
This
the
is
blood
that's
flow.
so dumb. Because you have demons in your blood? Is that what it is? Like, it's so weird.
I don't know what they. No, I don't think so. I,
I
think
mean,
it's
like-
because they think there's infection in the
Yeah,
blood.
but
and-
like I've seen
Or you
like
have too much
pictures or like
blood.
even in the movies, like they try to like, do it in movies where it's like you could see the instruments they use, and like I would not even use that. Like it just like does not look sterile.
yes. Trepanning, which
Trepanning.
is
Trepanning?
trepanning,
Trepanning?
where they drill a hole in your head.
That's actually like, people do that now.
it's
For
surgical
pressure,
lobotomy.
right? Like
Well,
brain
Pressure is
from
one
your-
of the reasons.
You
If you
get
were
high.
possessed, sometimes
Oh,
they
wow.
would do that. Or if they wanted to do a surgical lobotomy, that's how they do
Yeah.
Apparently you get high when you do it. There's like people that do it just to
To
live.
do
from
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't fact check me on that one.
Hydrotherapy, which is hot water or ice bath or both. Sometimes they would take the patient from one to the other. Blasted with a fire hose.
No.
To get them under control.
that's
But you know what? That
terrible.
happened in Penhurst, not a fire hose, but they would put patients in a room and
Yeah.
wash them down with a hose
Yeah.
instead of
But that
bathing
one
them.
room we saw when we went on the tour, it was like all tiled, remember?
Yeah.
And we're like,
That could
feel
be
like
it.
it was like a hydrotherapy
Yeah.
room.
Electroshock therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and then confinements and isolation. So they would
Oh.
isolate them. They put them. Did you see any of the cribs? They would put patients in cribs.
I didn't see a crib.
I saw like a children's crib, but
No.
I don't know where it was, but in some of the YouTube videos I saw, they had like an actual like adult size cage.
Right. It's the size of a coffin, and
Yeah.
but it had slats.
Slats.
I
yes.
saw that one
I
too,
saw
and
that.
then and it's one of the relics, I guess, and
Mhm.
they lock it so the person couldn't get out.
I did not see that anywhere.
And
Yeah,
then-
I don't.
and they
I
did
didn't
have-
see it on display.
Do you think that's where those mannequins were that we were like, I'm not looking at the mannequins
No.
because those are creepy?
They look like those were in like regular rooms. I think that was put away like
Okay.
if you did a daytime tour, you might be able to see
See
them in
them.
some of the other rooms.
Yeah.
We did
And-
find a huge cage,
Yes,
and
cages
I sat in it.
You did?
I did.
Did you lock it?
No,
She got pulled out of there.
I did. Wait until we get to that story.
Chained to a chair with a box on your head.
Like a wooden
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, isolation.
Oh,
box.
They
were
walk them, right? Don't
yeah,
they,
I
like,
think
walk
so.
them?
But they were chained sitting upright. And somebody's mentioned that's for the patients that were spitting, but I think that
Oh.
was an isolation technique.
Yeah.
I feel like that lock thing, like I've seen it in a lot of like heavy metal like
Yeah.
album covers or something.
What I'm
You know?
thinking of is the dude from Silent Hill with the big knife and the thing over his head, like that triangle
Uh-huh.
head.
Oh right, yeah.
So these were, I guess, methods that they used to control the patients or treatment.
Yeah.
What kind of treatment?
Maybe
would that
just
be?
to like break a person,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though it's like probably didn't know, some people
Or to
didn't
keep
know
them
what they were
from
going on,
seeing.
or injuring themselves. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or injuring
Walking
others.
around with a, no, you're chained to a chair.
Yeah.
So, and then they used insulin to induce comas.
Yeah. Insulin
We were
treatments.
talking about that at
Yeah.
Penhurst. Remember
Mhm.
the one lady nurse whoever did it, and that was why
Yeah.
they found out about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it was effective and sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
insulin's not a
Mhm.
good thing to inject. Then the favorite of everyone, the transorbital lobotomy.
Live, laugh, lobotomy.
Oh,
So-
you know, I saw that damn shirt. I wanted to like comment or like like angry face. I don't know. Like it's just like it's so like casually like
Yeah, I know
You
what
know?
you mean.
This was in the 50s. This was in 50s. This guy named Walter Freeman.
Yeah.
They called him doctor, but he really wasn't a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He developed a cheaper way to do a lobotomy than a surgical lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was taking a surgical thin piece of steel, they called it ice pick lobotomy, and tapping it through the corner of a person's eye, both eyes, one at a time, through the bone behind the eye
Because
into
that's
the brain.
really thin there.
It's thin, and then wiggling it around
Yeah.
to
Is there a bug in here?
cut out their.
Oh, you're having
Yes.
eye problems.
no, there was like a natter. I don't know what it was.
Oh. She's like
I'm
waving
feeling
in front
that.
of her face, and we're like, the gnat is trying to like
Go
force
into
a
your
lobotomy.
and wiggling around to do your prefrontal
Prefrontal
cortex
cortex.
and make you a happy person after that.
Which I don't. Is that a thing? Like, does it
Yes,
work like that?
supposedly. It
Can I have
takes-
one?
I can give you one. Let me get a nice pick and a
Okay.
hammer, and we'll test it out.
Test it out.
But we have to give you electrical shock first to
Right.
numb you.
To numb
so
me.
that's
Yeah.
the procedure.
Okay, we'll do this for TikTok. How about that?
You have to do both eyes,
Okay.
so you can't just do one. You have to do both.
All right.
And you have a 15% death rate. if it's
Yeah.
being done. And this is
Yeah.
1952.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
1600s. This is 1952.
Not quite in your lifetime, but close.
No, I was born in 1951, so it was.
Oh.
I could have had a frontal lobotomy if I acted up and they took me to
Mhm.
Penhurst and did that. Fortunately.
Yeah, because it would have been Penhurst, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they would have. Well, I don't know because that's Pennsylvania. I don't know which one would have been close. Maybe
In Maryland.
the mental hospital Farnhurst, which is now
Farnhurst, yeah.
on 13. It's the Delaware State
Yeah.
Hospital. Do you know where I'm talking about?
I would, yeah, would
We
love
used to
go
call it
there.
Farnhurst. So
Yeah.
we used to tease people. You know,
Yeah,
better
right.
behavior. You're going to
Yeah,
Farnhurst.
right. Like Newcastle area, right?
As you're coming out of Wilmington,
Yeah.
it's on the right hand side.
Yeah. Uh huh. It's still open though, right?
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the
Something
state.
else,
It's the
right,
state,
Yeah.
and I think it's a women's prison there as well now.
Yeah.
But it used to be, and it's a scary old building. We used to
Mm-hmm.
call it Farnhurst. It was the name of it. And the thing is, behave or you're going to get sent to Farnhurst.
Yeah, I remember my dad and like my sister's mom always like talk about. Used to talk about that.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good place to investigate
Ah,
because there is there's a
yeah.
cemetery behind there they've discovered that have markers, and there was a project to take. We're digressing to take the numbers on the markers and relate it back to the list of people that were buried, because there weren't names there. There were just
numbers,
markers, and they cleaned up the field and exposed all that. But for a long time, it was just lost. And so that was it. Anyway, the frontal lobotomies. You could get one done for $25. And he traveled all over the place.
Did we
Doing
do the conversion of how much that would be to nowadays?
Yeah, I don't know.
From the 50s?
Yeah, it's probably more like $500 maybe
Yeah.
now. But insurance probably would pay for it for some patients like me.
They're like,
Would
sign
Medicaid
me
cover
up.
that?
Sign me
Yes,
up.
please
Sign
do
them
it.
up. Yeah.
So they would do it. And this guy traveled across the country. He performed 228 lobotomies there in 2 weeks.
God's sakes.
Assembly line. Next, crash.
Yeah, remember
Crash.
they had the lobotomy recovery.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. That was a creepy area.
Did they have that?
Lobotomy
Yeah,
recovery,
yeah.
yeah.
And then this guy also performed a lobotomy on Rose Kennedy.
Right,
Remember
yes.
that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Because she was mentally deficient.
Well, that's because when she was being birthed, the nurse was holding her in the birth canal until the doctor got her out.
Here, let's just keep
and
in there.
suffocated her in the vaginal canal. Like wild
That
stuff.
is not. That's crazy.
Just catch the baby. She was on her way out. What are you doing?
It was closed in 1994. I watched this interview by a news station in I think it was in 1985, and they talked about it and interviewed some of the patients. But they said when they went in to do the tour and to talk to people, they had cleaned everything up. And they didn't really, they saw a little bit, but it wasn't really bad.
Yeah.
Not like the expose at Penhurst.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
This one wasn't as bad, but
I still haven't watched the Penhurst one. I can't.
Yeah, I still maybe like the first 10 minutes.
And
And
you
it's
really
like
know.
cry.
It's very
Yeah.
sad. And it was a week-long episode that was on Channel 10, I think, in Philly.
Yeah.
Anyway, it
Was
was...
that the same guy that went to Penhurst to do lobotomies, or was that a different?
I
doctor?
don't know.
You don't
I
know.
feel like it was a different guy, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm always like,
I know he
comment,
traveled
put your
across
comments
the
below.
country.
But
comment below.
fact check.
So in the 80s, 1985, the population started decreasing. So they, were kind of emptying it out, and then they didn't totally close until 94.
Okay.
And
They-
that's where that woman that we interviewed was doing her.
Right.
I think she said it was like 6 weeks or something. She said the total of times that she would have seen that woman was 28 times.
Oh, the woman in the
hotel.
Do
That
we
we
know
met.
what year that was?
94.
Okay.
Or
okay.
it was
It was
around that maybe
before
93.
92 or 93, I
Yeah.
think, just before it closed. So.
Yeah, because she was in nursing, and so she was there for training there. Not a residency, but like some kind of training.
Nursing, yeah. And so...
Well, here we are with
I'm Maria.
Maria. We met her in the hotel, and it is 6:48 a.m. before we go to Tala, and she's got a story to tell us. So,
I'm Maria, and back in the day, just before the place closed, we had our nursing psych clinical rotations over there. And, psychology is cool and exciting and all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, we were all excited to do our psych rotation. We had patients picked out for us. My patient was, at the time they called it multiple personality disorder. So I was psyched about that. Anyway, so you go through your day.
And those are really rare.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hardly ever diagnosed.
Yeah.
They call it what now? Dissociative disorder.
DID, dissociative identity.
Okay. So anyway, yes, that's hardly ever diagnosed, so I felt fortunate.
Yeah.
But every single day as a student, you leave the building, they had a cafeteria out of the main building.
Mm-hmm.
And the doors, you'll find out, are pain in the butt. You have to lock them they're big, heavy doors. I think they still have the doors up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So any kind of staff or we students would take these back stairs to go out to have a cigarette break if you smoked, or if we were having lunch, take these back stairs to go to the cafeteria.
Now, is that back stairs that they found the woman at? You don't know that one?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Go ahead.
These are staff stairs, so there would never be a student, or
It
there
was
would
a
never
nurse.
be a patient.
It was a nurse, and there was a staircase that they did not use often, and she was dead behind the stairs at the bottom for like a long time.
Oh,
She
gosh.
decomposed. So I don't know.
I
probably
guess
not.
that would depend on the year that
Yeah.
that incident happened.
Yeah.
But while we were there wasn't all this ghostly type of stories or
Right.
anything, and there was a time when patients could leave the campus. I mean, just walk right off, and you trusted them to come back. Okay.
But not all of them.
No. And I was on the third floor, which were some pretty intense ladies. They needed one-on-one most of the time. This was back in the day when you could restrain without permission, that type of thing. Okay, so anyway, all that kind of give you a little
Yeah. Background.
visual.
Yeah.
So anyway, every single day, 3 days a week for however long that rotation was, every single day. I was on the third floor.
Yeah.
Walked down the stairs because you're excited because,
Yeah.
just like anybody when they go on breaks.
Yeah.
Walking down the stairs. There's a door right here, and it's to the second floor.
To your right. Uh-huh.
And there's a door right there. Whatever. There's a little landing, and walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
The same thing until you go all the way down. You go out the door to go to the cafeteria. So I'm bobbing down the stairs, and there's a face in the little window. You know how there's probably some doors like that in here. There's the little rectangle windows,
Yeah.
with like the little bars that go through the
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah.
Okay, so you walk down the stairs from the third floor. Right here's the door, and there's a rectangle glass in the door with the little wires through it. There's a little lady in that glass every single day, and I'd wave to her. I figured it was one of the staff.
Right.
Okay? Every single day, and I'd smile real big.
Like, hi, yeah.
Every single day.
No.
There was no, that person did not exist.
Oh my
That
God.
person did not exist because that's where staff was, and there was no, patients weren't allowed to where that door was.
Right.
So some of the students were on the second floor, and I was like, who's the little lady that's always at the, at the
Yeah,
door? And they're
peeking
like, there's no staff. Number one, that's a little old lady, and patients are allowed that close to the door. So I was like, okay. So now that in mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to go down those stairs knowing that
Yeah.
there's not supposed to be somebody there, and see if she's still there.
Yeah.
So now I have a
Yeah.
little bit of trepidation, So I'm going down the stairs like this, and there she is. And I just
Yeah.
did what I did every single day, but she was kind of like, it's gonna sound judgmental, but she had like wiry white hair.
Yeah.
And she's little and wrinkled. She was old and had some missing teeth or whatever, maybe rotten teeth, but every single day. But there was no one.
Yeah.
There was no one. So that was
Wild. Yeah.
That's
a good story.
it looked like a live person. It wasn't
Can you estimate how many times? Like, 50, 100?
I'd say 3 times a week at least 8 weeks. So 24 times.
Yeah.
At least.
At least.
Does anyone else report seeing her?
No.
No
Nope.
one else did at all?
Nope. Nope. Every single day I'd be bobbing down the stairs because there was only 2 of us on the 3rd floor, and the rest of that clinical rotation was on the 2nd floor. So every single day, because I didn't realize they, I figured it was a patient, honestly, but I mean, it looked as real as you do.
Yeah.
And what time of day was that?
This was usually, I'd go out with the girls on cigarette break because, you just want to get out.
Yeah.
So that was usually about 10. Our lunch was usually around 11:30. But you know what? I'm realizing that I never really noticed her going back up. I guess because I never looked, so I guess I already waved to her once.
She was in your view going
Oh,
down,
absolutely.
but not going up.
I never paid attention if she was there going up.
Huh.
Yep. I was usually bopping down, but I think the pool door and maybe the gym door has like one of those little rectangle windows. Just enough to get her face in there and you could see her wiry, gray, silvery, wild hair and her little wrinkly face, and she would smile at me every single day and got some chompers missing or decayed or something like that. But I mean, she was as real as me looking at you right now.
Oh, I love
she was not like hazy or anything like that. It wasn't every single day. Every single day.
Did her profile image ever change? Did her eyes flame?
You don't really pay attention because as you're walking past somebody, do you really look in their eyes enough to, because when you think they're real, you're just like, hi, and go on your way. She was there every single day. They said, no, there's no, patients aren't allowed back to that door, and there's not any staff that fit that description.
Yeah.
So I don't know who she was. And at that point, there wasn't any kind of like ghostly, spiritual, or anything like that talked about at that time.
What year was that?
93, 94. Right before they closed. I'm pretty sure they closed in 94. I'm not going to swear to it, but I think that's when they closed. Well,
And that's when they started closing down.
well, they were overpopulated for sure. And like I was telling them, they asked if it was bad. Well, I would definitely say the patient to staff ratio was off for sure. But as far as like
Abuse and things like that.
I didn't see that. And of course, they're not going to let students see that kind of thing anyway.
Yeah.
This was also back in the day when you could restrain without permission, so.
Yeah.
So they may have been rooms that you would not have gone into.
Oh, definitely. No. Well, me for sure, because I had one patient and she's on 24-hour suicide watch, so I had to be within elbow's reach of her at all times. So there would be no reason for me in particular to be anywhere else than right by her side. And so that makes me wonder, like, when I'm not there, who was there within elbow's reach of her? Because I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to swear to this, I'm pretty sure there were only 2 staff to take care of that section of the floor.
Yeah. That's hard.
I mean, there might have been CNAs or nurses' aides, whatever people call them. There might have been those type of people. I don't know. But after I left, I worried about her. But at the time, there wasn't a thing about, there was a thing about way back in the day, the staff used to stay there and the building burnt up on the top.
Yes.
And I think a patient started that fire. I can't swear to that history. Yeah.
There were a few times where patients started fires and they had no fire plan. But I did read that the staff had to stay on site, and towards
Oh, I don't know about that now. I know when they first, all the doctors, everybody, and their families even were up there,
Lived on. Yeah, okay. And
lived
they
up at the
felt-
top.
Some of them felt like they were almost prisoners.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
At a certain point.
Well, you know, they had their own dairy there. They've got their own cemetery. I mean, it was like its own
Town.
little community. Yes, they were completely self-sufficient.
It was
Well, my brother also did. He's a athletic trainer, and they did a rotation over there, and you know, just helping them stay fit, that type of thing. You know, and I don't know if it was the year directly after or the last year it was open, but I know he went after I did. He did athletic training rotation over there. They found the tunnel that leads from the main over to the TB ward. Now this was like, you know, this wasn't common knowledge because there wasn't all the media about it after it closed. You know, after it closed and there was all this media, then you found out some stuff. But at the time, you didn't know this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he and one of his classmates found this tunnel, and it just makes me think of the Waverly Hotel, how they have the death tunnel, you know?
Yeah. The bottom
That's
chute.
that's what it made me think of. But really, what it was, and I mean, it could have been, but it was a tunnel to the TV ward.
Yeah.
So a lot of facilities had tunnels for the staff to go through, so you didn't have to go out in the weather or bodies, if you were taking bodies
Right.
for autopsy.
Yeah, where would the morgue have been?
Shoot, girl, I don't know.
It's in the basement, and there's pictures.
So maybe that, because it's the tuberculosis ward, maybe that was the way to get to the ward. That's interesting.
They said he said that there was like that's where they threw everything, like old wheelchairs and gurneys and that kind of stuff. And I just bet there's a treasure trove of, well, was. Then you probably, if you've done a little research, you probably know how police department and fire department had their little paintball battles in there.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, it was embarrassing for the whole state. I mean, come on, isn't it? I just
Disrespectful.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. There's all kinds of stuff. And then the girl and her dad that bought the place, her name is Rebecca. I got to know her pretty well because I had an antique store. And anytime I get anything medically unusual, I
Call her up. Yeah.
so a lot of stuff in there she got from me.
Oh,
She
interesting.
also has, or we sold her. I don't know if it's out on display. but
Right.
We sold her a baby's coffin.
Ooh. That's creepy.
You know, and it's old. It's not like padded or anything like that. You know, it's old planks.
And so what they did afterwards, they found, they don't know how many people died there. They discovered 4,000 people.
I heard it was 30,000.
Well, I did. So
I don't know.
they found 4,000 and then they stopped digging them up.
Right. Okay.
And after that, but yeah, the estimates are up to 30,000
Wow.
deaths
That's
occurred.
a lot.
That's wild.
And in 2007, it was purchased by Jim Jordan. It had changed name to something better than Lunatic Asylum, but he changed it back.
Yeah.
So,
Because it's salacious.
but there was a lot of reports of the staff of paranormal activity when it was still going on. So,
Oh, interesting.
so that's all I have from a historical standpoint.
Does that match up to what you caught? What you got? Like when you dug into it? Didn't you look into the history? of what
Yeah, it was just from watching stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
really read any blogs or anything like that. But
Okay.
yeah, yours was way more in depth than what I knew. I would love to hear more staff stories. You know, like what people experience there.
Comment below if you were staff.
So, yeah, that would be interesting. Now, a lot of the videos that are out there are people do investigations.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You know, doing
right.
doing that kind of thing.
Because
So,
I feel like
Are they provoking kind of stuff?
yeah, some of them are just
Yeah.
ones that I don't really care for. And then there was one guy that couldn't even pronounce the name of things correctly. I turned him off. It was like,
He was like, nope.
you can't even pronounce Allegheny. So
I would love to go like obviously again, but like do like the daytime tour.
Yeah.
Let's spend like a lot of time,
That's
with
what
one
I
of the
would be
historians
interested
there.
in.
Yeah.
doing. I'm not really. I would have done the tour that you went on. I would have liked to have done that, but then I couldn't have stayed there that long. I couldn't have physically stayed.
Well, and that tour, what was it, 2 hours?
2 hour tour.
Our tour, was like 2
Yeah,
hours.
I'm like, all right, cool. Like 8:30 to 9. Like,
No, it's like 10:30. We didn't get started until like
Yeah, it was
11.
kinda
Maybe I
something.
wouldn't have
But
enjoyed
that's
it that
okay.
much.
I mean,
then.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
it was
If
interesting.
it was warmer, I would have.
It was really cold, and we caught evidence, like we were experiencing things
Again,
then.
is it because the people that were there were recognized by
I think we should have had Alyssa go
interesting.
with us
And-
to Dean's room.
because we felt that in a couple places where they're familiar faces.
know.
So
Yeah.
especially
Yeah, that's interesting.
Rockwood, I think
Yeah.
was one of the places where they're there all the time.
all the
They feel
time.
comfortable.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Yeah.
theory. I feel like that would be, especially like when Alyssa was talking about, I'll go with the group and then know me, or like it's interesting all the stories that all the
Yes.
stories with all like the different spirits and like what they like, how they put all that together from like investigating their so many
Multiple
years.
ones, yeah.
Like, these kids like Led Zeppelin. I'm like, how did you figure that out? Like, you're like, well, we're just gonna put on music and just chill. Like,
Yeah. Didn't we
I don't
sing?
know. We did
I
sing.
sang.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
but
were
like
singing.
how they figured that out, like it's just trial and error.
So tell me about you. You went on the tour. You met the tour guides. You did a tour. You caught some things on the tour. Then you went off on your own. You split into two groups
Yeah.
and started at the 4th floor and worked down.
Worked our way down. That was a good plan.
yeah,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it was like we had all this time because we had until 5 a.m. But like I felt like we were like every like half an hour we were switching up or moving around or like going to get warm. Like it was. I wish the temperature had been better because
It
then would
had
have
to
been.
have been
It was so cold.
10 degrees out that night.
It was
I mean, it was
so-
very cold
Yeah,
and very
really
windy and
windy.
snowy.
We had the blizzard going on. And I know for a fact that some of the evidence that we've caught we have to throw out. Even though I know it was something, like having listened to stuff back, like that's definitely not the wind, but we can't 100% say it. So when
or
in doubt,
like
you gotta
anything
throw it
with
out.
like banging.
Yeah, but we caught some banging that one because you hear the wind, but you don't hear the wind going.
Yeah, like banging metal kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can say, well, that's just a temperature change causing the metal to expand or contract.
Sure.
But it wasn't because it was cold all the time.
It was cold.
So
The
did
whole
they,
time.
there was no running water. There was no heat in the building except
just
the
that
space
little room.
heaters in the room.
Yeah.
Now there is running water, but it was only to the toilets and the bathroom, and they had just this week turned it on.
Well, that doesn't mean that it couldn't be expansion and contraction.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
when you have water in a frozen building, you kind of tend to leave it run
Yeah, they did
Yeah,
say
they
that,
were-
like, leave
because
the
if you
faucet
don't,
on.
it freezes in the pipes. So
Yeah, they had signs saying don't turn this faucet off, so
Yeah.
because it'll freeze up. But they didn't have because they're renovating, so they didn't have a lot of the stuff running as usual
okay,
because they've been.
they've been renovating,
Renovating.
so things
So-
weren't there.
Yeah, we started on the 4th floor.
Well, do you want to talk about the tour?
The tour,
So
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
some
3 hour
fun
or the
stuff.
2 hour
So 2-hour tour.
2 hour tour.
2 hour tour.
So we go with Alyssa. So we met Brandy and Alyssa. Brandy is the one that's been on all the shows. Like she's the one that her face forward. You know, she does all that stuff. She kind of stuck around and let Alyssa take us and kind of do the things with us. And she was there to be the backup and like,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, kind of security a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, because she
The
made
more
a
the
joke.
merrier, right?
She was like, "This is where your stuff goes. Don't worry, I'm here. I'll be here. If somebody runs in, they're gonna kill me before they get to your stuff." She's like, "I'm taking one for the team." We're like, "Oh my god," it was hilarious.
Now, do they ever have break-ins? Did they say people trying to break
so.
in? I know that they had a problem before it was opened of
People, yes,
police officers playing
Yeah.
paintball.
paintball. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the
we saw
things
the
were
paintball.
taken, I guess, or ruined. Yeah.
Well, and Alyssa said that her boyfriend did not go in with his brother when he was like 10 years old and explore. He did not do that.
Wasn't him.
They did.
But they did.
Yeah, that was.
I would have too.
Hell yeah.
I would have think.
I'm like, let's go to Farnhurst.
That happened at Penhurst too. You know,
Oh
where they,
yeah. Oh yeah.
People doing weird
they
rituals
do
and
it all
stuff.
the time, and that's.
I mean, perfect place.
Yeah. Go freak yourself out. I am so sad that I'm not doing this in the 90s when they didn't have cameras on no and like motion sensors. I should have been doing that when in the 90s. Wasted youth.
You would have too.
I definitely 100% would have. Anyway, so we went on the tour and we went to the arts and crafts wing first.
Yes.
And
So
that's on the
first,
on the
floor, and then there's a sub first floor. So
Yes.
it's not the basement, but it is, but it's not. It
It's
was
not
only
the-
that area.
It's not the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was some cool artwork. I keep
Oh, yeah.
sniffing. I'm sorry if I sniff in this.
Is it?
It's cold in my nose.
Is it artwork that were by
Done by the
patients?
patients.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, art
And they had some
therapy.
murals and
Yeah.
anybody. They say anybody could come and do artwork. I don't
Yeah.
know about anybody, but
I got the impression from what I heard is that there was a lot of interaction with community.
Yeah.
That some of the people in the community, they would volunteer or they'd do things
Yeah.
for the patients there. And then the patients would actually go into the community. They would go to the stores or wander around. I was surprised it was that close to the town.
Yeah.
And there were some people that just said, yeah, it's no problem. There isn't. We've never had a problem. And then somebody said, well, wasn't really thrilled about this hospital being this close. And that was
Yeah.
the news interview when they were doing that. So
Yeah.
there were mixed feelings, but it is close to the town. And even though originally it may have been on 666 acres, it wasn't. It's not now.
No. And that bank, when we went past the bank,
yeah,
that was a pretty old building.
yeah, beautiful building.
Yeah. I wonder
Like
what that dated back to.
Yeah.
I tried to look up history of Weston, West
Yeah.
Virginia, and I didn't really find anything. I'm sure that there is a historical society,
Yeah.
but why is that town? I know it's on water, but it's not much water. You know, most towns are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, was there mining nearby? You know, I don't know. I don't know anything about Weston.
Right. Back to the story. So we go to the arts and crafts wing. That's locked off. So I don't think everybody goes there. Not everybody goes there. But what they did, there wasn't any residents there. That was just like treatment rooms and like group. Wasn't that where the group therapy place was? And then that whole secret wing of like the hidden surgical rooms that where they did the bad stuff.
Yeah.
They did surgeries they weren't supposed to be doing. So
We did go back there.
Yeah,
So did you find something back there? Was there a kind of...
there were chairs stacked
Yeah,
up,
there's chairs stacked up that
but we don't know if that was
maybe
paranormal.
was staff, like the cleaners potentially,
Or the maintenance guys.
Maintenance
yeah,
guys,
they were
yeah.
they were
Like,
messing
we're
with the
gonna keep up
maintenance
with
guys.
you.
see anything?
Not in that room, but we did go, and when we were in that surgical room where Alyssa said a man told her he was sensitive, he said, do not ever go there by yourself because they want to hurt you. And so that's the only place that she doesn't like going by herself.
So the people that were angry
Very angry. There were things done to them
they
that
didn't
shouldn't
agree to.
have been done. And then so we're there and we're looking down, and
I'm trying to remember where that was.
How that was, because is that Ward D? Where was our room? Where was our break room?
Yeah,
break room is here. So it would have been, because this is where that goes.
Yeah.
That is where. Yes. Okay. So I'll put this online
to the map.
This is the one place that the room that Alyssa was talking about, that with the surgical ward.
Oh, okay.
That's where that is. And so where we saw that window would have been right there.
Okay.
And then you go here and that way.
So these L's coming off of the main were the
Or the E. They're E's.
yeah, they're kind of looking E's, but those were where they kept the violent and criminal patients, right? Those were the
Not in the arts and
isolation.
crafts. Not in the arts and crafts.
Those would be like higher up on the other floor.
Those
Okay.
would have been up here.
So they didn't on the first floor. They weren't
No,
used for that.
not
Because
there.
I was assuming all of the L's were ones that could be blocked off. People couldn't
I
have
see.
access to.
No, I think so. I don't remember the sub first floor.
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
remember. I think we just kind of walked through there real fast. So that was that the one?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It was hard because it's
kinda
it's you're in the dark and you get
It's
confused.
confusing. But yeah, we were at one point. There was a bigger room, which I think it was like the chairs or maybe the arts
Yeah.
and craft, and then some of us were in that room, and then some of us were out in the hall, and they're like, turn off your headlamps because that's where you were, right?
What
seeing?
that where? So the reason we saw the shadow down here.
Okay, that was it.
So
So
it
is
would have
that
been there.
the one in the pharmacy that was going back? And
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Down the hall. Yeah.
Down
we were
that hall. We were
one
here and it's down
of the-
here.
at the
So when
end.
you're saying down the hall, you're going back into the ward, into Ward
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
So we're in the last user forensic unit, it says.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
where that was. Because the arts and crafts wing, and there's doors and stuff. But this was a surgery room that she was scared of. And so we're in there, and April and Ron are like watching a shadow go past the little tiny window that's like 2 feet by 1 foot. Like that window was small.
Small. Yeah.
But you could see a little light from, a light outside, but you could see a shadow going back and forth. And April ran and grabbed me, and I was like, come here. But we had the lamps on, so it took me a minute for my eyes to adjust. And then as it adjusts, I could see things going back and forth. And then everybody kind of huddled around.
Yeah.
And
turn off our lights.
like,
And it took a second, to
And you
adjust.
could see everyone
You could
saw
see
it go
it.
back and
every
forth.
single person
But
saw.
Yeah.
but that was the tour, so you didn't have your equipment.
We didn't have our
Yeah.
equipment, and it was so dark that I don't think it would have worked if we had brought out our phones.
Right.
I don't think
I
it would have
I
shown
don't
up.
think so.
Thank you for listening. If you have a story you'd like to tell us, please email us at onlyghostsinthebuilding@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Only Ghosts in the Building or Facebook at Only Ghosts in the Building. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/onlyghosts-in-the-building, and you can come join for free, or we have a $1 a month tier or a $5 a month tier. Come check us out. We have a lot of good content there. I really enjoy the app and all its capabilities. You can listen, you can watch, and you can read and check out all our content right on there. Thank you so much. We will see you soon.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.